Okay, developing digital services. That can be a tricky one. It costs a lot of money, and it can also involve a lot of work that makes the project being late. I don't know if you agree with me, but that's at least my experience. Today I want to share with you some really easy technology that we've been using, 2 examples, and it's easy to use both for us and for the customers. We are just using technology that's already existing and combining that in a new way. And this makes it very cost effective because you can pretty much start this in 1 or 2 days. This is Susanna. Susanna is one of my co-workers. She came to me 2 years ago and she said, Anders, I want to start a podcast. And I said to her, well, Susanna, what is this podcast going to be about? And she said, well, I was thinking of addressing the target group job seekers and talk about different subjects that you can different subjects connected to job seeking. And I said, well, Susanna, I don't think that the unemployed have time enough to download a webcast, a podcast and listen to it. So, but she said, Anders, it just cost us a few €100. We need a microphone, and I will help you to provide a license. So just go on, don't hesitate. And I said, okay, Susanna, try it. But I don't think this is going to be a success. 1 year later, the pod had been downloaded 465 times. And up until today, over 800,000 times has it been downloaded. So Susanna was right and I was completely wrong. There is something out there, something that is interesting about what we can provide them with. The subjects are how to write a CV, how to prepare for a job interview, or how to another really interesting subject. Should I tell the employer during the job interview about my disability? This kind of subjects we have also been broadcasting. So it's a big variety. We had our minister there to visit, and this is a very, very easy way to reach out, and it scales, no problem. You can put anyone together with Susanna at the microphone. We are now trying to address the employers, and we also try to do something for all the immigrants that we have in Sweden. So we have started with a podcast in Arabic, and I will talk about the immigrants a little bit later. So this is the other technology I was going to share with you, our webinars. How many know what a webinar is? Hand up. How many have participated? Okay, good. Well, it's basically a webcast where you give a lecture or a seminar, and then you can interact with the person who's doing the presentation through a chat, a live chat, and you can also interact with the other people in the live chat. Again, we started in very, very small scale, from one idea that we put on paper till we had a few camera and a microphone, and we started. And after that, we realized that the target group that we were addressing, the young people, the group between 18 and 25, they weren't interested. We tried and tried and tried, but they didn't listen. They didn't participate. Instead, it was people much older that started to be interested in the webinars. Today we have a little bit more of equipment. It looks more professional, but it's still a very low cost. So why are what is great about webinars? Well, I can tell you a few things. You can participate from anywhere. You can be at home, you can be on the bus, you can be in a cafe, just using your mobile phone or your computer or your tablet, which is very appreciated. Of course, you need to have a Wi-Fi, but in Sweden that is often provided. And from our perspective, it's perfect because we can take the best of the best and put them in front of the camera. Really use the experts and the ones who are have a good way of presenting in front of the camera. So this is instead of having them just working at a local office, giving speeches there, now they can shine all over the country instead of just being local. Another thing that happens here in the chat is that people start interacting with each other, and it's very helpful. Sometimes it's really touching to read what they're writing to each other, because they help each other, they encourage each other to okay, good luck with your job interview, or whatever the subject is they are discussing here. And of course, you can interact with the one who's giving the lecture, so you can ask questions, and in that way, the webinar is very lively. We have tried different languages. We put one interpreter here and one speaking Swedish. We have had also people only speaking, for example, Arabic or Tigrinya or Persian, or there's now one more language, Tigrinya, Somali. These are the big groups, immigrants at the moment in Sweden, and to help them to enter the labor market, we have decided to start giving information in their mother tongue to start with. So Arabic, we have tried a lot. We have, in average, about 500 participants. We have handled up to 1,000, but this scales, so you can be even more people here. We have one PES officer from the contact center who is moderating here and talking to the people, writing to them. And another good thing is, after the webinar, it stays online, so you can participate afterwards. Then you can't chat, but you can still listen to what's been said. And check this out. They want 99.2% say that they want to be in one more webinar after participating in one. That's really an incredible figure, 99.2%. So far we have had a little bit over 300,000 views. Imagine that. I mean, we have been talking to people, like, if you think of football stadiums. It's quite a lot of people in front of you that we have been able to reach out with very, very small resources. So in total, 500 webinars so far. We send 9 every week, and we have about 60 subjects that keeps going on the schedule at the moment. And interesting here, this is the group that we tried to reach, 18 to 25. It seems like people are between 40 and 55. They are the most, the group that likes the webinars most. That was, at least to me, a surprise. So what's next? Well, we will now scale up this because the customers likes it, and it's very cost effective. So we are building a studio and we are hiring people, more stars in front of the camera. We are now going to address new target groups. We're going to try to reach the young ones again, even if it's difficult. Employers, we have started a little bit with the employers, but we need to figure out when to send the webinar and what kind of subjects they really want to know about. So we're going to try that. And then again, all the languages, and help the people who are newly arrived in Sweden to get basic information. Then we will combine it with our services on the website. The self-service, after you, for example, have done an interest test, you can go get recommended to participate in a specific webinar, or the other way around. After you finish your webinar, we can point out certain places on the website where you can get more information. Since we have been creating so much content, it's a little bit starts to get difficult to find it and to get orientated among all these webinars. So that's why we now are creating a new service called Arbetsförmedlingen Play. The idea comes from Netflix. So the idea is to, if you have watched one webinar, you will get recommended by the system to watch another one, because based on what the system knows about you and your behavior, then we will give you some advice that way. Last one, these are the something that I've been really holding on to, because very soon people inside the organization realize that this is a way to communicate inside the organization, for educational reasons and to have managers talking to each other and so on. But I have held on to the resources and let the customers take benefit of the resources so far. But now, when we scale up, this will be, I think, another area that we will be using it. So, how will this fit in with the rest of the services at Arbetsförmedlingen? Well, we are moving towards digital first. This means that we are moving from face-to-face meetings at the local office towards digital meetings held by the PES officer at the contact center. We are also, of course, moving the whole thing towards self-service, because that's where you can really save resources. And these resources are, the idea is to let the people work at the local office, for example, work with the employers, spend more time with the employers, and also the people who are a little bit further away from the labor market, who need some extra assistance. Of course, we put a lot of resources into developing self-service And that's been going on for a few years, and we are still putting a lot of resources into that. So, because it was needed, really. But I would say, this is Mina. She works at the contact center. She's a PES officer, and I think she and her colleagues at the contact center, they have a key role in this transition that we are doing towards digital first. Because she's the one who is chatting, she's the one who has the video contact with people. She is answering questions at the social media, and she is also, of course, also answering the telephone calls. And she will be soon assisted by artificial intelligence. But we are not really there yet. But within a year or two, I think we can start to have a little bit of assistance from the intelligent systems as well. So, thank you.